For most players, the journey to the top can be long and brutal. Many of them spend years chasing greatness, and when someone comes from nowhere to take down the very best, history is made. At Capcom Cup 11, the conclusion of Street Fighter 6's $1 million Pro Tour, legends like Punk, Tokido and MenaRD were favorites to win it all. But things took an unexpected turn. Overcoming experienced veterans and the absolute elite, a 15-year-old prodigy from Chile emerged, and his name is Derek Blaz. Why does he resemble a fighting game god to so many people, and how could anyone stop such a young force of nature? This is the story of the kid who slayed the gods of Street Fighter. The young Derek Blaz started playing Street Fighter in 2021 at just 11 years old. As the world was going through a pandemic, Derek wasn't attending school in person and was taking his classes online, which allowed him plenty of free time to play.
Yo jugaba Ranked con un amigo de Argentina, se llamaba Gorillero. Empezamos a competir, que soy más rápido de liga, hasta un punto donde el tipo se quedó atrás.
He spent a lot of time grinding ranked matches in Street Fighter V and quickly discovered a strong affinity for the game. Blaz is part of a new generation of Chilean players, a country that, despite being underestimated in discussions about the world's strongest fighting game regions, has produced championship-level talent in multiple games, such as Ultimate Marvel vs Capcom 3 Evo champion Nicolas Kane Blue River Gonzalez, the King of Fighters 13 champion Felipe Mysterio Torres, and the twins Nicolas Martinez, winner of Combo Breaker 2024 for MK1, and Matias Scorpion Prox Martinez, Evo 2022 champion for Mortal Kombat 11. Blaz showed great potential from an early age and was initially picked up by Black Esports in 2022 when he was just 12 years old. He was known as the Grandmaster Uriel Prodigy, and he quickly gained many fans on social media through highlights of his matches. But the secret behind the young star's success wasn't just raw talent. He was introduced to Street Fighter due to his father's influence, who soon taught him the discipline required to train smart and improve as a player.
En ese entonces, bueno, no teníamos muchos conocimientos técnicos, no sabíamos lo que era un shimmy, un frame trap, un spacing trap, un chip kill. Todos esos conceptos los fuimos aprendiendo poco a poco, pero Derek rápidamente integraba todos esos conceptos en su pelea. Aprendía algo que observaba y luego lo ponía en práctica. Y era muy natural en él.
Together they played, analyzed matches, and discussed the best strategies and everything they could from the top players around the world. His father's unwavering support prepared Blaz to start his competitive career, even if at first offline tournaments were not an option and he could only play online at home. In 2023, Blaz had his first significant result in a big tournament, Gamer City, which took place in Santiago and featured players like Zangief Bolado from Brazil and Nemo from Japan. There are virtually no footage of the tournament available, but it is known that Nemo finished in third place and Blaz was the runner-up, losing in grand finals to the Brazilian player. A few months after Gamer City, Street Fighter 6 was released, and the barriers imposed by SF5's online structure were finally shattered, allowing South America to train and compete together without the fear of being hindered by poor connections. With the start of SF6's first Capcom Pro Tour, the South American qualifier took place in September, and the young Blaz, now 13 years old, made it to top 8 with his incredible Ken.
You have a giant array of weapons for yourself. Just walks and tries to jump out, but the auto-correct level 3. It's not going to be quite enough to kill, but it's good. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry!
He was eliminated by his fellow countryman Uriel, but his performance was undoubtedly one of the tournament's highlights. It was very clear that the boy had a promising future. If it's true that Blaz had a natural affinity for Street Fighter V, it became clear that he would develop an even stronger connection with Street Fighter 6. With the help of his father, his growth as a player was constant and shockingly fast. In 2023, he got top 8 at the CPT South America online event. But in 2024, with the format change, where 2 qualification spots were given through World Warrior events, Blaz would display such dominant performances that no other player could keep up with. Out of the 5 tournaments for the World Warrior South America East Circuit, Blaz won 4. Even in the first tournament, where he did not take first place, he still secured a 3rd place finish. As a result, he was the player with the most accumulated points throughout the season, and was rewarded for his consistency with a Capcom Cup 11 spot. But what is impressive about Blaz isn't just his results. The way he plays is unique, full of personality and deep knowledge, as if the boy is not just a competitor, but kind of an artist. He's also capable of performing at the highest level with multiple characters, as he demonstrated over the course of 2024, winning tournaments with Ed, Ryu, Ken, Terry, and Akuma. He will switch between characters, and this will not affect his performance at all, when even the absolute best players often struggle to play secondary characters to their maximum potential. After securing his Capcom Cup spot, Blaz traveled to the Dominican Republic, where he competed at Blink Respawn, finishing 7th place alongside Mena, another Chilean prodigy. Then 13-year-old Kraime placed 4th in the tournament. 1 week after Blink, Blaz won the 2-game Pro Latam Tour, which took place at Festi Game in November 2024 in Chile, featuring some of the best players from South America. Blaz earned his spot in the finals through the Last Chance Qualifier, a tournament where I had the privilege of being his first opponent. And here's a fun fact. The LCQ final was between Blaz and MK champion Scorpion Prox, who, to the surprise of many of us there, has an exceptionally strong cat. Not only did Blaz win the LCQ, but he went on to take the championship the following day in grand finals against the Brazilian player Zangief Polado.
Uso do Dragon Lash, stick de overdrive. É de like, é de overdrive, stick de overdrive. Não tem o que fazer. Já era. Meu Deus.
The prodigy secured his revenge against Polado and also earns a contract with 2Game to officially represent the team. Blaz had proven that he was the best player in South America, and Capcom Cup 11 would mark only his 2nd in-person tournament appearance in the Capcom Pro Tour. For the first time since its inauguration in 2013, Capcom Cup would be held in Japan, a country where Street Fighter is deeply ingrained in the culture, and SF6 has been a massive success. Japan has also been the strongest region for every Street Fighter game, even though some of the favorites heading into Capcom Cup 11 were in Japanese players, such as Punk from the USA, MenaRD from the Dominican Republic, and Angry Bird from the UAE. Adding to the mix of different nationalities, several first-time qualifiers from various regions arrived, raising expectations for a sensational championship. Spectators placed their bets, but the group stage was about to throw all predictions out the window. On the first day, Punk secured an important victory against Itazan in Group A, while Kakeru and Tokido won their matches in Group C. However, some surprises came in Group D, where Aidan was defeated by Emperor and VX Ball from China was taken down by the young prodigy Blaz.
それでも状況十分まだ歩いてくる下段の崩しこれ VS のチャンスありますよ今度はやり返し今度はやり返し
Another unexpected result was Jack's victory over South Korean player Leshar, who was widely considered one of the tournament's favorites. They too turned up the intensity even further. Punk was defeated 2-0 by Venezuelan player Salvatore and came dangerously close to losing to Takamura, which would have drastically reduced his chances of qualifying for the finals. The American managed to recover and kept his hopes alive.
最後はパンクらしいラウンドとなりました。いやこれでもすごいな。
In Group C, the competition remains fierce. Tokido's first opponent was Zangief Bolado, and despite taking an early lead, the Brazilian got to make a comeback to claim victory.
どうする最後の一指になるか。落としている。画面端近い。さあ時々には逃げちゃう。もう2回目の正直だ。サイクロンで吸い込んでいく。
Kakeru clutched out an incredible set against Duo Kevin, but Bolado couldn't overcome the German player Halibel, a loss that would prove disastrous for Brazil. Tokido was defeated in an epic set against Jabiem, who proved once and for all that his previous win over Tokido at Red Bull Kumte South Africa was no fluke. With that loss, Tokido's chances of qualifying dropped dramatically. Once again, the standout in Group D was the young Blaz. His first opponent, Emperor, started strong, but Blaz managed to recover with incredible plays. He secured another comeback victory against Broski in an even closer set.
投げが入って体力差はもうなくなったバニッシュ危ないバードどうするブロスキーそしてここは SA2 削りまで
Meanwhile, Idon, the only Manon player in Capcom Cup, suffered his third defeat, which meant he was eliminated from the competition, and would play his remaining matches as mere formality. In Group F, Lechar secured 2 crucial wins against Uriel Velorio and Oil King, while in Group G, Juicy Joe stole the show with decisive victories over Kaba and Knuckledo.
ここで放ったどうなのこれおお密着だ先に回復は中心上いやしのげそうしのげるかしのいだ踏んでいるここでまずは端から出してそしてここで CB
In Group H, Juninho Haas pulled off a shocker by defeating Lex and Kusanagi, making him the undefeated leader of what could easily be considered the group of death.
何を狙うリリバ
いや、いいコンボ選択でしたね。
ジャスパリードライブゲージを保持したインパクト耐えれないバードまずい打ったお互いバウンドこれあるんじゃないか両者触られたら何もない世界へゲーム勝負の一発ゴール
Most qualification spots were still undecided and would only be determined on day 3, setting the stage for a shocking conclusion for both players and viewers.
画面端はホットラックですオーディアドセンター技あり高村全て読めていたと言わんばかりの
Punk was defeated after taking a single risky decision in the final round against Hot Dog. With Takamura's dominant performance and the early elimination of Itabashi Zangief, Finon and Punk faced off for the second qualifying spot in Group A. Their result was surprising.
投げるさあパンク画面端だインパクトさあフェノムパンいやまだ終わらんぞといや終わるわこれは補正は勝ってますが、SS3 さあフェノムがパンクを下して
Punk was out of Capcom Cup 11, while Takamura from Belgium and Finon from Norway advanced to top 16. Despite having 10 players representing USA, only one made it to the finals. Noah the Prodigy, who qualified through the winner's side in Group B alongside NL from Korea. In Group C, multiple result combinations could have decided the qualifiers, with the exception of Halibel, who was already out. Tokido needed an absurdly specific sequence of results to qualify, but took the first step by defeating the previously undefeated Kakeru. In a hard-fought set, Bolado defeated JBM 2-1, keeping his dream alive. Tokido continued his journey by beating Halibel 2-0. However, this sealed Bolado's fate. Mathematically, he could no longer surpass Tokido in points, and ironically, his next match would determine the fate of the Japanese legend. Duo Kevin still had a shot, but the Brazilian ended his Capcom Cup 11 run by proving that no region in the world should be underestimated.
これはでかそれでも危ないぞ
With Bolado's 2-0 victory, Duo Kevin was eliminated, but Tokido's destiny still depended on the final match between Kakeru and JBM. If the South African wins, Tokido is out, but his plot armor is just ridiculous, and with a dramatic finish, Kakeru ended JBM's run. Somehow, Tokido was in the finals. Lechar and Xian advanced from Group F, Juicy Joe and Shanghai moved on from Group G, and in Group H, Brazilian player Juninho Haas lost both of his final matches. First to Angry Birds and then to Shuto, the very players who advanced to top 16. Out of all the groups, only 2 players finished the first 3 days undefeated, Fudo from Japan and Derek Blaz from Chile. Blaz dominated Bravery and Idon with back-to-back 2-0 victories, proving to the world that he was ready for the biggest challenges.
さあここからドライブゲージはまだ帰ってこないが画面端の攻めにはなるでしょうアイドルはどうする確認か
Giants had fallen, and the path ahead was impossible to predict. That was great news for us watching at home, because what was about to happen was set to surpass even the wildest dream bracket anyone could ever imagine. Capcom Cup 11 finals were just cruel. There was nowhere to run. Each elimination could break the hearts of fans somewhere in the world. Noah and Takamura opened the last day of matches, and despite a solid start from the Belgian, Noah the Prodigy was able to adapt and secure his spot in top 8. The next match was one of the most anticipated, Kakeru vs Blaz. This was the moment for the young Chilean talent to prove himself against an established champion and one of the most consistent players over 2 years of Street Fighter 6.
ドライブもブラズかなり危ないですよ。とてつもないダメージ。バーとしてそこで気づくか。高天候か。ただそれでもさあここからまだバート終わってない。このバートしながらの後ろにいる。いやー受けた。お見事かける。
A 3-0 victory for Kakeru. Blaz would have to try again through the lower bracket, and Kakeru was in top 8. Lechar made a comeback against Fudo to win the set, and finally Juicy Joe managed to overcome Angry Bird, sending the EVO 2023 champion to the losers bracket.
GP に対してバートは非常に危ない。ラブシカ囲まれる。ダブルアップしてきた。ジューシーすぎる2択。さあそしてさあ勝つための一撃だった。
With 12 players in losers and only 4 remaining spots for the top 8, the bloodbath was about to begin. One by one, incredible players started to fall. Phenom was eliminated by Enel, Broski was eliminated by Tokido, Shanghai was eliminated by Shuto, and MenaRD bid farewell to the competition after a set taken to the absolute limit against Xian.
まだまだわからない。さあシェンにバーッとも見える。全然わからない状況。無理はできないか。ドライブ来た。横から勝負に来た。
In losers, Angry Bird picked Takuma to face Enel in a mirror match, and he got the win to advance to top 8. Fudo and Tokido had an insane battle, but somehow, Tokido's plot armor proved too strong for his rival, and he also took a step forward in the bracket. Shuto managed to surpass Takamura in one of the closest sets of the night, staying alive to represent Japan.
距離を見極めていたラストローから勝負が間に合った。バード上等。次私
All round 2 matches in top 16 were decided by intense 3-2 results, with only one exception. The young Blast destroyed Xian's soul.
負けです。画面端が近い。結構リーサル見えそうですね。そうですね。うわーパニックした。これはまさか。これは両国の地で新勝利権。一度崩れてしまえば大ダメージが入ってくる。かい。これでシェン小技も許されないがオーディハド。さあブラスは一度距離を取ることに成功。ためがない DJ に対してどうする。まあ飛び道具もブラス打てないですね。うわさあここで来ました。対空射が中、そして着地を勝った。さあこれ伝わってる。真空波動。おそらく補正球をやったんでしょうか。早っ大足くぐった。くぐっている。昇竜式から衛星ゲージがあるんでリーカルが見えてきた。ブラズの竜目をそらすな。新勝利権。
The 15-year-old prodigy made it to top 8 of his first ever Capcom Cup. In the winner's bracket, Kakeru defeated Noah,
リバー冷たい。そしてどうすんのこれ。この状況ノア針抜けるか。残っています。
and Lechar defeated Juicy Joe.
シャガジャク
The winners finals between Kakeru and Lechar was not exactly a surprise, given the consistency both players had shown during 2024. In losers, however, Blaz was about to begin his impossible journey. His first opponent was the Japanese player Shuto, who had the crowd's support and was on an incredible run.
ただワンアウトしている。投げ残るぞ。うわー前スペコバーン走る。ただこれでマーサープラスめり込んだ。ゲージを使わない。足りないときか。上タイから新勝利。 SA ゲージが2つ溜まればシューター飛び道具が見えてくる。
そうですね。球を打ってゲージを貯めながら
チャンスを伺い、いやーマジか、持ってきたー、OD 速攻バウンド、バー中からジャッケの判断から入ったシュートの最適解。厳しい状況だが相手はバーンとしているシュート、
間に合うか。
変動しているこのブラッド、返す間に合うか。 SA ゲージ間に合った、めり込んでいる。チャンスを狙うのはブラッドの竜。さあしかし静寂を切り開く中足一戦から SS
もうなんか当たった
才能が
らと
修羅に迫る。カウンターカウンター飛躍した。
行くのか。
遅らせている。くぐった倒産。
これはでかい。
これで追いついたのはシュートの号機です。さあブラザードライブゲージが少ない状況だ。シュートがそれを狙いに行く。
それ
入れ替え足したい。
ドライブリードなんでチャンスですよ。
崩れない。ゲレダチマッチポイントはブラストリュー。バックステアッパーニッシュ、ちょっと危ないの分かれ道。持続 SA さんは左下クリティカルアーツに変貌している。
バーンときた。
見えてきた。支援削り
さっき100機でね後ろに回って勝利をすかしてるんで。
うわーグダグダ打つのか。
さあ体力差ないですよ。
パリから攻めてくる。いやー
バートだけは危ない。いや
Match by match, both players pushed each other to the limit, but Blaz was able to make Shuto pay dearly for taking constant risks in the end. Next, Blaz faced Noah the Prodigy, who was also in losers because of Kakeru. Only one Prodigy could survive.
させるぞみたいな感じの動きになりますが、
そうですね。ここは大事。届かずだが大パンから端置き、そして速投昇竜画面端バックステを見ている、待っている。四隅中足、そこからの速投新昇竜拳前に出る。もう一度投げて画面端ドライバー1本だが打ってきた。そこはしっかり遠いがオトマメ足逆者が16周大パン置いてある。打ってきたペルライダーパリして大パン入らない。さあ交錯する中でジャストバリーからノアが前に出る。
まだある。
さあここ打ってきた。
押してそう。
次はノア投げに行っている。ただ画面上遠くなったが投げ1つ削り回る状況。ノアにはゲージを2つ。下を見ている。パニッシュ読み勝っている。この投げ画面端さあここもパニッシュ
リーサル見えてる。
さあバーンとさせに来る。
白くなった。
さあ破傷地獄。ノアが動けない。
Noah didn't stand a chance. With a 3-0 score, Blaz moved forward to face the legendary Angry Bird, who had eliminated Tokido and also had gotten his revenge against Juicy Joe.
どんどん攻めてきた。マシーンが対応完了。残るか。残った
あると思った。押し込んだ。
The kid was on an incredible run, but for many spectators, it was all about to end.
この状態だとインパクト3を狙いたいがギリギリ耐えたブラズ。確認歩けない。抜ける。スローエスケープ。相打ちラウンドはおっと残った。なるほど。これはジャンパ何が起こるかわからないぞ。ストリートライブ。ただここはしのぎました。ブラズはここから逆転を狙うにはどうするか。これもザップを打ち破ってリーサルが見える。いわゆる倒し切り投げ食らえないですかね。重要な1ゲーム目はどうだ。しのいだ。両者バーンと寸前。走り始めたのはブラズの竜。上から
Despite Angry Bird coming close to winning the first game, Blaz maintained his composure and pulled off an unlikely comeback. 1-0 on the scoreboard.
次の狙ったか。
橋原始まるぞ。
リーリババーンアウト。
される前にしましたね。
さあしかしインパクト到達。集中 OD からねじ込んでいく。T サルバッチリパーフェクト。プラスカウンターどうだ。ダブルアップ。なるほど。攻撃いた。ショット
国に新昇竜
残ったどうなる
春国チャンスこれは
ダブル
一瞬戦撃4
With incredible reads in the final round, Blaz extended his lead to 2-0 against Angry Bird and was on the verge of sending another EVO champion home.
集中スペース空対空投げ圏内抜けるからきついインパクトが春国チャンス耐えてはいる先ほどは逃した春国立っているガード削りルートを狙うのか春国間に合っていないが間に合うそうなるかただ削りが見えるドライブゲージを戻せるかアングリーバード画面の左で白いゲージ
Blaz wins. Every single attempt by Angry Bird was successfully stopped, and the young prodigy secured a podium finish in his very first Capcom Cup. But he could go even further. Kakeru and Leshar were the only two undefeated players. But when they faced off, it seemed like Kakeru was destined for something greater, and Leshar stood no
こ
chance.
こでまず落ち着いてドラゴン取ったさあここで来た楽しんでください
ダブルアップなのかなリーサルありましたね
さあバーンアウト中のレシャー SA ゲージはありますがこれは削り差を見ているこれでドライブも優位
そうですねこうなると
さあバーンアウトレシャーこれは厳しいラウンドになりましたジャンプしかしここから着地をから形さあレシャーさあ手を離す
ぽいなそうですねシンドリ
さあうまく拾っていきます会場もドリームが
愛の手がやばすぎる
分かっているさあここでなんとシュートボールさらに拾えるぞ2段ダブルステップドボールこの局面で押されている展開さあこれまでであまり見たことがないケースですさあここから右も振ってきた
やばいな今の垂直
さあこれは投げから拾えるチェルノボーグ前に来るかけるパンチマリがヒットさあここは接地ルートきれいさあ CB が入って逃げ地コンボを完走すればこれはそのまま落ちた
With Kakeru's victory, Blaz and Leshar were left to battle for the last spot in Grand Finals. But by then, even the most skeptical fans wouldn't dare doubt Derek.
投げていく画面が近いシュート入って前に出るかドライブリバーサルじゃあここから中足入っている崩しきるかドライブおそらくジャンプサイドアッパーのミスで出てしまったんですけどあそこをしっかり見逃さずうわー手に入った確かな竜の火力がレシャーに襲いかかるここは読みも強いか
Despite a strong start from Leshar, Blaz once again made incredible reads and took control of the set. 2-0 for Blaz.
さあここは締めもどうでしょう近くしかないか前へダイヤ申請だ何だったか衝撃刻んで崩していく画面端が近づいてくる打ってきたなんということださあブラスにはゲージがあるぞ終わりかねない新勝利正確無比なレシャーが
What kind of player dashes 4 times, walks fearlessly, and attempts a throw with no sign of hesitation? It wasn't just a score that impressed, but the decisions, the confidence, the aura. Blaz was one match away from the grand finals of Capcom Cup.
危ない状況押し込みに行く距離があったパニッシュから繋いでいるのはブラス通っている真空竜巻から伸ばすのかどうするいやーとここで速攻まで危ない状況でした飛び込み新勝利確実的に動いているのでしょう大足まだ回ろうとしているレシャーにゲージを落とし画面端に行ってまずいインパクトレシャーの体力を持つか SA バッター回ったシンクア
Blaz did it. Lechar was eliminated. The young prodigy would get his rematch against the only player who had beat him throughout the entire tournament. Who would emerge victorious? Kakeru, the player who had once been a rising promise in Japan and had solidified himself as one of the strongest Street Fighter 6 players? Or Blaz, the revelation who shocked the world and collected victories against established champions along his journey? Once again, it was time to play Street Fighter for $1 million.
これは火力の高いユウにとっては絶好のチャンス。ドラム差し返しパンチから一気にダメージを与えていく。ブラズ読み勝っている。
怖いですね、ブラズは。
バーター近いかける。ここはうまくさあ打ち切った。ザ・プリエット大技 SS3 まで決めて逆にパニーを投げている。まだ残っている。ブラズはどうする。投げるのはかける。
Like before, Kakeru started the set with the lead, but this time, the result would not be the same as their previous encounter, and Blaz fought back to tie the score.
後ろにある伸び幅が後ろから来た。ワーパガードして前に出るブラズネルチャギ中足ここでうまく崩していった。さあどうなる。この体力勝ち上げたが残った。まだ残った。さあこの土俵際かけるどうする。なるほどバート削り切りはブラズ。
With the set tie, Kakeru did not falter and quickly secured another victory over his young rival.
竜だぞ火力はあるぞ。今飛ばして怖いところワンミスは許されない。下から来た中弱打倒機まだ足りない。下がっていたかけるの JP これはどうなる。リバーまたもやバウトどうする。
座れない。
上下使わないか出ないか使わないか結果は
しのいだんじゃないかこれ。
時間は経っている。稼げている。ここでガードの上からラブシカ前に出て崩しに行く。ただ戻った
He was one match away from becoming the Capcom Cup champion, and Blaz needed to find an answer before it was too late.
さあまた僕はできるが来たぞ。ゲージは2つある。いいからかけはラブシカ。さあこれはコンボになる。前に出てストリモでこれでマッチポイント。前で止まって足元を狩る。ここは速度まで入っている。画面端上きれいに入った。そこは昇竜まだゲージは使わない。シンク竜巻昇竜系どうなるどうするこの状況。かけるの玉抜けもあるぞ。土俵際ラブシカなのか。さあブラウザは下がってこれでさあこれでドライバー戻った。かけるは苦しい。ダメージあるのか。慣れている。さあ決着の時が近いか。
The Japanese player had done it. He was the Capcom Cup 11 champion. For Kakeru, the dream of a major title had finally come true. He had already won a big prize in 2023 at an invitational tournament. But for the best players in the world, money is not all that matters. After coming so close in his first EVO for SF6 and missing out on the first Capcom Cup for the game in 2023, Kakeru finally won not just the prize, but the glory. He proved what his fans knew but maybe was difficult to explain. Kakeru belongs to the absolute elite of Street Fighter, and with his victory at Capcom Cup 11, no further explanation is needed. For the young Blaz, it is hard to put into words the meaning of his historic campaign. Coming from a forgotten region, he managed to defeat the world's best and bring hope not just to the new generation, but to the future of fighting games. At just 15 years old, he achieved much more than securing second place in a Capcom Cup. He won the hearts of fans worldwide and proved that the passion for Street Fighter is worth it. Japan embraced Blaz and gave him a fond nickname, Chirihara, meaning the Chilean Umehara. Shinya Onuki, one of Japan's 5 gods of fighting games, made an observation. The way 15-year-old Blaz-kun pressures and uses his shoryukens is just like a young Umehara. I'm excited to see how far he can go. I'm sure many people share Nuki's sentiment. The legend of the Chilean prodigy is just beginning, and what an incredible way to write his first chapter. He may not have been the Capcom Cup 11 champion, but it is impossible not to say that. In the end, he kinda won. Blaz is still just a kid. Win or lose, maybe the most wonderful thing about seeing him play is that he is just having fun. Capcom Cup 11 was the second $1 million tournament for Street Fighter 6. The first one also had an interesting story. An underdog from Taiwan won the whole thing, only to never be seen again in a Street Fighter tournament. Click here to watch a breakdown of the greatest one and done in Street Fighter history. Thanks for watching, and if it's not so much trouble, leave a like in this video.